The War Council fell silent when General Kale announced his decision. His golden eyes, hardened by 30 cycles of warfare, swept across the assembled commanders of the Vraxian Empire. Each one bore scars from humanity's relentless expansion across the contested sectors. "You would send your own offspring to them?" Commander Thros growled, his fur bristling. "The humans are savages, unpredictable. They fight without honor." Kale's claws drummed against the obsidian table. "That is precisely why my cubs will learn from them." The other Varaxians exchanged uneasy glances. Their species had ruled this quadrant for millennia, their military doctrine perfected through countless victories. Yet in 3 short years, humanity had shattered every assumption. They didn't follow the traditional rules of engagement. They adapted. They improvised. They won. The humans offered an exchange program, Kale continued. Cultural understanding, they called it. I see it as an opportunity to learn what makes them so dangerous. He paused, his voice dropping to a rumble. My twins Rax and Ven will go. They will return with knowledge that could save our empire. The human barracks on Station Meridian were nothing like Vraxian military compounds. Where Kale's people built monuments to strength and tradition, humans created functional chaos. Equipment was scattered but accessible. Soldiers laughed during drills. Training exercises seemed designed to break rules rather than enforce them. Officer Lyra met the cubs at the airlock. She was small by human standards, barely reaching Rax's shoulder. But something in her stance made both young Vraxians instinctively straighten. Her dark eyes assessed them with the precision of a targeting computer. General Kale's boys, she said, offering her hand in the human gesture of greeting. I'm Officer Lyra. For the next 6 months, I'm your instructor, your commanding officer, and probably your worst nightmare. Welcome to hell, Rax, ever bold, clasped her hand. We are honored to learn from humanity's warriors. Lyra's smile was sharp. Warriors? Kid, we're problem solvers who happen to be really good at violence. Big difference. You'll understand by the end. The first month was humiliation. Every instinct the cubs possessed, every lesson about honor, strength, and dominance was systematically dismantled. Lyra's training didn't emphasize individual prowess. She forced them into scenarios where they had to rely on others, where brute force failed, where the unconventional solution was the only solution. Your people fight like you're immortal, Lyra said after Ven charged headfirst into a simulation and triggered every trap. Humans fight like we're already dead. Makes us harder to kill. She taught them to think like prey that had evolved into apex predators. Humans didn't win through superior strength. They won through relentless creativity and the terrifying ability to turn any situation into an advantage. But the real education came from watching human soldiers interact. Vraxian military culture was hierarchical, based on dominance and bloodline. Human squads were different. A private could challenge a sergeant's plan if they had a better idea. Soldiers protected each other not out of duty but genuine care. They joked about death while treating their wounded with tender precision. Why do you fight? Rax asked Lyra one evening, watching her clean her rifle with practiced efficiency. She didn't look up. Because someone has to. Because if we don't, the people we love suffer. Because humans are stubborn bastards who refuse to quit. She finally met his gaze. Why do you fight? Rax realized he didn't have an answer. He'd never questioned it before. By month 3, something had shifted. The cubs stopped trying to dominate every scenario. They began listening to the human soldiers around them, learning their names, understanding their stories. Ven discovered he had a talent for logistics, the unglamorous work of keeping troops supplied and mobile. Rax found himself drawn to tactical analysis, not just strength-based solutions. Lyra pushed them harder but differently now. She gave them command of small units, then larger ones. She put them in impossible situations and watched how they adapted. Leadership isn't about being the strongest, she said after Rax successfully evacuated a simulated disaster zone by coordinating multiple teams. It's about making everyone around you stronger. The cubs began to understand what made humans so formidable. It wasn't their technology or their aggression. It was their ability to transform individuals into something greater, a collective that moved with unified purpose while maintaining individual initiative. The final test came, unexpectedly. Pirates, a mixed crew of various species, attacked a civilian transport near the station. Station defenses were down for maintenance. The nearest military vessels were hours away. Lyra gathered her available personnel, 18 humans and 2 young Vraxians. "This is it," she said, her voice calm despite the chaos erupting around them. 20 souls against approximately 50 hostiles holding 300 civilians. "Rax Ven, you've learned our way. Time to show me if you actually understood it." Rax felt his father's training warring with Lyra's lessons. The Vraxian approach would be direct assault, honorable but costly. But humans didn't fight honorably. They fought to win. "We divide them," Rax said, his mind racing through scenarios. "Ven, you lead engineering crew. Create diversions here and here. Make them think we're everywhere. Lyra, take your sharpshooters, control the high ground. I'll take the assault team. We hit them from the angle they won't expect." Ven added, "And we evacuate civilians in phases during the confusion. They're expecting heroes. We give them ghosts." Lyra's grin was fierce. "Now you're thinking like humans." The operation was chaos and precision intertwined. The Cubs didn't fight like Vraxians, they fought like humans taught by a master. They adapted when plans failed. They protected their people above glory. They won through coordination, not domination. When station security finally arrived, they found the pirates subdued, civilians safe, and 2 young Vraxians coordinating the aftermath with the calm efficiency of seasoned officers. General Kyle barely recognized his Cubs when they returned. They stood differently now, less rigid, more aware. When they spoke of their experiences, they didn't boast of personal achievements. They talked about their team, their strategies, the humans who'd become something like siblings. "Father," Rax said during their private reunion, "I need to tell you something about humans." Kyle waited, expecting tactical intelligence. "They fight like pack predators," Ven continued, "but not like us. Their pack isn't bound by blood or dominance. It's bound by choice and mutual trust. That's what makes them unstoppable." Rax straightened. "We request permission to return to Meridian Station. Officer Lyra has offered us command positions. We'd each lead 100 human shields integrated with our own people. A joint force." Kale felt something shift in his understanding of warfare, of leadership, of the future. His Cubs hadn't just learned human tactics. They'd learned to think beyond the old ways. 200 shields, Kale murmured, under my Cubs' command. He thought of Thross and the other commanders who'd mocked his decision. His offspring had left as students and returned as bridges between 2 ways of war. The ancient strength of Vraxians combined with the adaptive ferocity of humanity. "Permission granted," Kyle said. "Show them how the future fights." As his Cubs departed, General Kale understood that he hadn't sent them to learn tactics. He'd sent them to evolve. And they'd returned ready to transform an empire. The humans had taught them the most dangerous lesson of all, that true strength wasn't in standing alone, but in forging something greater together.